Let's talk about the Guardian of the Galaxy, Victor Von Doom. The Guardians team at the time was big enough to split up into two factions. One of those was investigating strange occurrences on a rim world where they found that a Skrull was leading a cult. While that seems like a bit of a problem, it turns out to be even more of a problem when that rim world that was hosting the cult turned out to be Ego the Living Planet. Now, simultaneously, the rest of the Guardians were investigating an attack on the Kree-Skrull Alliance, and all of a sudden, Dr. Doom appears. Now, he's there to steal the space sword from Hulkling. Reveals that there's a huge magical shift coming, and that's why he's out here in space, and he needs the space sword. Their powerful telepath Moondragon was actually able to swap the minds of Victor Von Doom and Rocket, to which, of course, obviously Doom was very pissed. Quill knows a few things about Victor Von Doom. He knows that he's extremely powerful, but also that he's a man of his word. Placing him in a space prison isn't going to do much because he'll just break his way out eventually. So to keep an eye on Victor and to get his help in this upcoming magical threat, before he'll allow Moondragon to switch Doom's mind back in his rightful body, he makes him give his word that he will help the Guardians of the Galaxy. Much to the displeasure and shock of the rest of the Guardians. Specifically Richard Rider. Now Pete and Rich are extremely close, and none of the Guardians have spent near as much time on Earth as Richard has, so he especially doesn't trust Doom in any of this. This is exacerbated by the fact that when they go to get the help of the Krakoans and Sword in this huge space ordeal, Nova completely freaks the fuck out when he finds out that he's working with Magneto as well. Eventually, the Skrull cult's ritual is completed and the magical disturbance reveals itself as Dormammu is back from the Dark Dimension and he is possessing Ego the Living Planet. Dormammu releases an army of his mindless ones to start waging war on the galaxy. Now, Victor realizes that the 4 planets that Dormammu's attacking form a pattern, and there must be a 5th one, as Dormammu's plan is to form a galaxy-wide pentagram. Once he has possession of all 5 planets, the sigil will be completed, and Dormammu plans to bring the Dark Dimension into our galaxy and completely take it over. Doom and Rocket have worked together to come up with a plan to stop Dormammu, and Victor takes a very specific 4 members of the Guardians along with him to what he assumes is the 5th planet, Chitauri Prime. Of course, upon arrival, they find out that Doom was correct, but the only thing is Dormammu's forces have already completely taken over. But thankfully, Victor has brought some reinforcements of his own. Things go from bad to worse when Nova is talking with Gamora and realizes that while he was trapped in the Cancerverse, he heard that Ego the Living Planet was trying to build a body. And as it would turn out, he was successful in that endeavor. Thanks to his Doom bots, Doom and the Guardians were able to touch down on Chitauri Prime. He forms a pentagram of his own with the Guardians that he brought and uses a magical spell to suck out all the power of Dormammu. And of course, infuse it in himself and his team. Now, Dormammu can tell that almost all of his magic is gone. That's when Rocket shows up to enact his part of the plan, which was bringing a really big fucking gun. The Krakoans helped build and deliver this thing, and they loaded it with a bullet made of Mysterium, which is an anti-magic metal that the mutants have discovered. After siphoning off all of the magic of Dormammu's that they could handle, Doom then teleports the Guardians back across the galaxy where they're needed the most. A now supercharged Star-Lord is hooking up to his giant element gun, where the bullet's going to get a little extra push from Richard Rider using all of his Nova Force. With this anti-magic bullet loaded up and one shot, one chance to save the galaxy, Gamora pulls the trigger, firing the bullet through the head of Dormammu, who was once Ego the Living Planet, and successfully killing him. Now the galaxy is saved, the Guardians go off to celebrate. Victor Von Doom, on the other hand, has other plans. The leader of the Skrull cult that turned Ego the Living Planet into Dormammu turned out to be this Sister Talanois, and we see her meeting with Victor Von Doom. And Doom hands over the completely conquered Chitauri Prime planet to her, and we find out that this was all part of his plan, just so he could siphon off the power of Dormammu for himself. So it turned out Nova was completely in the right, because you just can't trust Victor Von Doom.